and this situation gave us the momentum. So we were really, the next 10-15 minutes, we were really in control, and I like that a lot. We have to extend these phases, and then we probably can win a game against them as well.
Jürgen, another characteristic your team displays a lot of courage, especially at the back. I always look at you and think sometimes Manchester City were playing in behind, but you've still got that bravery to push up, to squeeze the game, to try to keep your attacks going.
Okay, it's in football it's like this. If there's no pressure on the ball, you cannot have a higher slide. We had that once or twice today. But in all other situations, when Hendo could step up, because the wingers had to defend a bit, obviously, then Hendo can step up. Then you saw them turning, passing back and stuff like this. But there's a moment when you take a deep breath. There's a moment you have to drop, but you can't. That's not that easy. It's like all of a sudden, oh, here's the ball free, no pressure, and then he chips it just in the eye. We were lucky when they scored a goal and it was disallowed for offside. But apart from that, we wanted to be ourselves, and it doesn't mean a crazy high line. It just means we want to put them under pressure where they want to build. And that worked out a lot of times, not all the times. And then, you could suffer a little bit, but that's the way it is.
Jürgen, now the game has been played and you leave the stadium as well. How do you feel? How's your emotion? Do you think it's 2 games of 2 points lost or 2 points to go?
No. The season is too long. If we win today, then we are 2 points up. What is that then? Feet on the chair, or let's say, that's it. They will not lose a lot of games. We will not lose a lot of games, hopefully. If we do, then we have no chance, that's fine. If we don't do, but the plan is actually to keep them under pressure. Yes, we were already in a similar situation years ago. We didn't become champion because of 11 inches. People forget that. It was a situation here, that goal, I think, when Stones and Ederson kick the ball in each other's face, and in the end Stones can make that save. If that ball is in, we are maybe champion. A few weeks later, Burnley, similar situation. City can score a goal for that against Burnley, and that's the situation. We cannot force luck. We will just try absolutely everything to win our games, and then we will see what they do. But we have other competitions between now and then, and it's all good.
You do have other competitions, but you've got 7 league games to go. Do you think it's going to be that fine margin again that you're going back to?
Now, hopefully, if it's not a fine margin, then I can see them dropping plenty of points. So we have to be really nearly perfect and ruthless and force luck in these moments in games where we really just win football games, and then we will see if they drop some more points or not. We will face them only. Chance we could face them. So at least one more time, but not in the league at least. So now we have just to make sure the next Premier League games are United and Liverpool. So against us, they 100% squeeze both performance out. Then we can imagine that. It's not that they just give up and say, okay, we don't want. No, that will be really, really tough for us. But I couldn't be bothered about it. I'm really happy with the situation and our development, and all good. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Listen, you said last week the whole world stops for this fixture. It didn't disappoint. Thank you, and thank you for joining us, Jürgen. Great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Wow. Might stay live at the Etihad. We had to wait for Pep Guardiola and Jürgen Klopp live. Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No,
I know.
And back to us now.
Yeah.
Sorry, viewers, you'll have to
Cheers, Stephen. It has been a
I
pleasure.
didn't mean it like that. When you speak to them, as I'm lucky enough to do, and you speak to them now, the mentality of those 2 leaders for a dressing room to follow.
It's fantastic. I mean, these are the kind of coaches that you want to play for and play under as well. You have your fair share of coaches. I have a fair share of coaches. But these guys, what they did for the last 5 years here in the Premier League is just amazing. And it feels like whenever a new player comes in, he just adjusts to the system and to the mentality as well. So that says something not only from a coach on a technical point of view, but as a management. He understands his players to the core as well. And the way how he got a reception here from his fans is also second to none. And then also, of course, the little chat that they had with Guardiola and Klopp says also something between the 2 of them. So I loved. If I was still playing in my high days, I would still love to play under one of these 2 coaches.
Does it make you want to get your boots on when you listen to those 2 and you watch a game like today?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think it's the culture that they've created at their respective clubs, isn't it? You can't do that, in 6 months, in 1 year even, and both of these managers have had time to imprint that style of play, that culture within the club, and it just shows you, if you've got the right man and you give them time, and you give them money, and you give them everything that they need, then they can create two teams like this. And as we said before the game, two of the best teams we've ever seen going head to head. It doesn't get much better than that. That first half, I was literally I was falling off my seat, let alone on the edge of my seat. It was absolutely brilliant, and everything the game should be about.
I'm fascinated to hear Jurgen Klopp there go back to previous seasons and those fine margins, and that could be the difference again as we stand here now with 7 games to go now.
I think so. I think it's now just a matter of the fact who's going to make the first mistake. This game is just out of the way. The two biggest rivals play now both head-to-head games, so that's out of the way. Now they have to make sure that they just continue winning their games, and if nothing happens, obviously City's going to be the champion at the end of the season. But I think we still aim for some drama in these next upcoming 7 games. So obviously I'm biased, so I'm hoping that it's not going to go Liverpool's end. But at the end of the day, it's good for the Premier League that it's still so close, because it goes to the end.
Yeah, and from Liverpool's point of view, you said right at the start at 1 o'clock at UK time here today, they must not lose, and they haven't, and they've twice been behind.
Yeah, and I almost think that in that last 20 minutes, both managers, if you'd offered them a point, they would have taken it. And the players on the pitch, I thought they both played, even though they still went for it, because it's just in their blood to go for it. I still think that they were quite happy with a draw. Liverpool didn't want to be out of this title race, and they would have if they had been beaten today. Manchester City, we're a point ahead. Do we need to risk it? I think both teams reasonably happy at the end of it with a point each.
A game of the highest order. We've brought you the two world's best managers live here, tipside as well at the Etihad. What a day in Manchester. They take a